all better.
Buddy, good as gold.
You ready for a little spring break this week?
Oh, buddy, it's that time. Spring break.
Oh, yeah, no Girls Gone Wild shit up here, please.
Oh, man, I had this whole bottle of water. I'm wearing a white T-shirt today, buddy.
Look, I'm sorry. I'm still going to give you just a 3 out of 10.
That was 2 more than I thought. I'm fucking winning.
Welcome to the Whiskey and Wine Podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Big Mike.
Welcome to our spring break edition.
That's right, spring break.
Now, just pulling back the curtain, we are not actually on spring break together. We're recording this the week spring break starts, so we'll be going out on our own. So I'm not going on spring break with you, Mike, because I don't know that both of us would come back.
That's probably
like
pretty damn accurate.
Where did you leave Alex? I don't know. The last place I saw him was Tijuana.
Oh, yep, dude. We crossed the border, picked up an old switchblade out of Cerveza, and next thing I know, we're at a donkey show. It happens 100 times.
100% of the time. I don't know what it is.
No.
I think it's just magic.
That's it, man. You're going to be close to Tijuana, though. You should get close to the border and take a picture for social media.
Should I? Yeah. Like, this is where Alex gets left behind. Like, I am absolutely going to get taken because I'm so pretty. Just send Liam Neeson after me, all right?
That's right, buddy. Hey, I got you, man.
Yeah?
I got you.
You're going to come down and rescue me from Tijuana?
Hell yeah.
Okay,
I
good.
know my way around those streets.
Are any of them named after you at this point?
I hope not, man. I hope not. I did spend a lot of time back in the day in Tijuana, and I look back at it, and how
did you survive?
I don't know, man. It's so terrifying, honestly, to think. You know, my daughter's only, I don't even know for sure, but I think she's like an hour and a half away from the border.
Oh, shit.
And I've told her 1,000 times, please, the towns that back or that border Arizona right there, I said, it's not what you know, like
this is
Cabo
not
San Lucas.
Yeah, this
right?
is not all-inclusive resort Mexico.
No. So my goal is to...
This is you're not coming back Mexico.
No, yeah, nothing good is down there.
Oh, well, congratulations on making it past episode 20.
Yes. Hey, yeah, you too, buddy. Look at that. We did all fingers and toes.
Uh-huh. And I honestly wasn't entirely sure we were going to make more than 5 or 6 episodes. I thought we kept trying and eventually got this thing going. And now we're at episode 21.
Who would have thought?
Definitely not our wives. I think they were hoping this would burn out a little sooner.
Yeah.
It does make for a quiet Sunday for him, though.
It absolutely does, man. I know what my wife's doing right now because I'm getting text message updates, man. She is at home. What does she call these things? Apparently a copy of the Starbucks
the egg white bites?
Dude, it's like a damn conveyor line at Casa de West.
Wow.
Look at that.
Wow, those actually look really tasty.
And you know what the best part is? She loves it that I'm not there because that pile
will stay that size.
No, it'd be cut in half if Big Mike was there. Just fucking eating them, dude. She made Thai salad wraps the other day. Oh man, we got
those
the rice
good.
Paper. She soaked them in water. We were doing, the mint and the Thai basil.
I'm guessing she did a lion's share of the work on that because those big mitts of yours do not look like they're good for, like, soft, terrible rice paper.
Do you want to know what my job was? I had
there.
I had to wrap them in saran wrap when we were done, and that was it. She didn't want me to touch it.
I can't believe she trusted you with that part.
She wanted me to be away from the food and the conveyor line. So she would literally, first she would have to soak the rice paper in water to make it nice and soft. She would stuff them, do all the ingredients. She had sliced carrots and sprouts, and dude, she fucking went all out.
Yeah.
She would literally roll them, stick them in a little container, then for Big Mike to take out of said container, wrap in saran wrap, and then put them back. I was proud of myself. I think I only ate 2 or 3.
I was gonna say, how many did you eat? Yeah, all right, there you go. That's again why we're not trusted to do that kind of stuff. Like,
No.
I made those breakfast sandwiches like I did for you when you stayed over here.
Yeah.
So I made those for some of the girls that stayed over last night, and there was one extra, and it was still sitting down there just before we started recording. So I just, just Pac-Man the shit out of that thing.
If you leave it behind, I'm gonna come by and clean it up for you.
Yeah, that's our job as dads, is to be the garbage disposal for all the other random shit.
Yep.
And I'm fine with that.
No, I'm 100% fine with it. Like I said, this is why my wife is doing
all
the cooking right now, because
the 3-year-old's not there to eat all that one's a little misshapen. I'll take care of it for you.
That's what I was doing with this salad rolls.
This
last
one's
night.
torn. You definitely don't want to eat this one.
A carrot popped out at the end of one, and I was like, "Oh, let me see that one." And Kate looked at me, and she goes, "No," and she just like pulled it out, and she goes, "It's fine." I go, "I was gonna eat that son of a bitch." It was deformed. It had one little carrot.
She knew exactly what was happening there.
Yeah. I can't help myself. I love the food.
Well, we don't get the bodies of athletes without trying. All right.
No. Yeah, this is a temple right here, my friend.
Absolutely. So, what are we putting in our temple this week?
Oh, dude, you're kind of blowing my mind on this one a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
This is a lot. It's so different than anything else we've ever had.
Yep. Because we cleansed the palate, got some new stuff flowing.
Yep.
And I'll be honest, you've opened my heart. I've never even heard of this, so no disrespect, but I've never heard of it, seen it.
I see it all the time at liquor stores, but I had never thought of picking it up until we started getting a little bit more anal retentive about like availability. Like, I can't just order everything online that we're going to taste. So I started looking at different liquor stores, and this one I saw at virtually every liquor store I walked through. So this is Amador. It is out of California, so it's still a Kentucky bourbon whiskey because it's still originally made in Kentucky, but then they finish it in California. So they've got this cute little map on the back where they show that it starts its life in Kentucky, and then they ship it out to California to this vineyard, and these folks that own this vineyard take this young bourbon and they put it into Chardonnay barrels to finish aging.
A little double barreled aging right there.
Yeah, so it's a double barrel. That's what they call it. So the Amador double barrel, and the Chardonnay thing. Like, we've seen them that are port casks, obviously, Angel's Envy, and all sorts of other wine things. But this is the first one that came out of Chardonnay barrels that I've seen. This is entirely different than anything we've ever tasted before.
Yeah, I was searching for words.
Right?
It was very. I mean, the nose right when I first smelt it. Right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that one could smell dryness.
Right.
But it had just a very distinctive dry smell to it. I don't know how to explain that. And I know everyone that's listening probably thinks I'm really intoxicated. But it was weird, right? It was something you have to experience.
Right.
Because it's super mellow. I'm talking like almost to the point where I'm picking up some wood, definitely some oak, right?
Yep.
And I don't like, my sweetness level, right? I'm picking up almost zero sweetness. I get a little I do get vanilla or something in a bean family for some, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But it finishes almost too smooth for what I would prefer for a straight drinker. Now put this in a old fashioned or a Manhattan.
Oh yeah.
Because it's not super complex where you're not layering, all those other additions that you're putting into it, right? Because you get some of these smoky things, and it has fucking sugars and honeys and so many flavors. The last thing I want to do,
right,
is to splash some more shit in there and just layer upon layer and add then sweetness and a little cherry. But this, how it finishes dry, I would actually be very curious to either do two things with this: smoke it.
Ooh,
I would like to put a little. I don't know. I have cherry wood at home, and I haven't really found too many things that I prefer.
Yeah.
But this
might be this would be fun, I think, to try all the different wood chips on. You know, like just try different ones and see which one gets soaked in the most into this.
Because I bet you a nice little cherry smoke on this.
Yep.
Maybe even throw a little cherry in there just to top it, nothing else. I bet you it'd be pretty freaking killer. So we might have to do a little more experimentation. We're going to have to keep drinking this throughout the episode.
Yeah.
I'm a little afraid that it does drink really smooth, and I just realized that we entitled this the Spring Break Edition, and I still have to drive, and you have family stuff going on, so at some point we might have to move the bottle because we do not need to have a fucking MTV TRL spring break up here, just you and I. I mean, maybe.
I'll get another bottle of water out if you really want to do a wet t-shirt contest, okay? Nobody's going to want to see that on the socials, but, you know, we can try. We can see if that gets us banned finally.
Oh, my God, dude. Maybe put on some Cisco Thong Song from back in the day and just see what happens.
Oh, my God.
That's what spring break, Bowdy.
Yeah.
You and I are MTV generation, right? Remember when they'd always do the frickin' Cabo San Luke? They would always pick like a ton of places.
Can you imagine if you owned the house that they rented for this stuff, and then they're like, don't worry, you know, we'll do all the repairs and everything afterwards, and then you come back and you're like, no, this is a straight bulldoze and rebuild.
There's no longer sheetrock in the house.
No.
This is a teardown at this point.
And if I turn on a black light right now, the whole thing's gonna glow.
Yeah, you don't want any of that.
No, like, oh God, like the pool would be ruined.
Oh yeah, remember those bars that they would pick that had the swimming pools in them, where they would do the wet t-shirt contest? But
my God,
you'd be like, ooh, I don't know if I would go in that pool even like a month after.
No,
the spring break season, because that's what Mexico is, right? You would have to
drain and scrub every pipe in order for me to get into one of those. Yeah. So here's a good one for you. So Joanna and I went down to Arizona at one point, and we stayed at this cute little place in Scottsdale. Looks very much like a 1950s travel lodge from the outside, but it's totally redone on the inside. Really classy, great food in the restaurant, but it's got a pool. And, you know, during the week, there's nothing really going on. It's just kind of, you know, hotel guests. But on the weekends, all the 20-somethings to like early 30s-somethings that are just meat market people in the Scottsdale area all buy a pass to this pool. So all of a sudden, like early in the morning, hotel guests get to go pick their chairs first, and then they open it up to everybody. And all of these, like, anywhere from like really good looking to regretfully looking people starts piling into this place. We were there from 9:30 until like 3:00, just, you know, drinking and like we'd get up and go back up to our room and come back down, and we got to save our chairs the whole time. By the time we left at 3:00, that pool had gone from clear blue to so milky white.
Oh, man.
It was in between the sunscreen and the drinks that had been spilled in it. And here's the thing that was the grossest. There was a group of girls who were kind of in the pool right in front of us, and they just kept getting buckets of White Claws brought to them. None of the 5 of them ever got out of the pool the whole time we were there.
You know what they're doing in the pool.
They were absolutely peeing in that pool. So when we got back from dinner that night, they've closed the pool down, and the people cleaning it are just taking buckets of
chlorine.
chlorine and just dumping it straight in the pool. Like, oh my God. So the next day we go out there and it's like crystal clear again. They clearly have some like $5 million filtration system because they know what they're getting. Like,
I couldn't imagine that.
oh,
I couldn't imagine the shit that they see right at these hotels and resorts. Our favorite Cabo place that we went to last summer, there's like 8 or 9 pools, and I think 3 or 4 of them, about half of them have swim up bars, right? And it's always funny because Big Mike, man, once I break the seal,
you're done.
I'm done. But I can usually hold it and wait pretty good until that first seal is broken.
Yeah.
But I'm looking around. I'm kind of a little abnormal, right? And I'm thinking, shit, all right, I finally have to go. It's been, 5 or 6 hours. But I'm looking around like, wait, none of these other motherfuckers have gone everywhere. And I'm pretty proud of my seal. I'm known, but I don't. Yeah, nope. I'm just gonna stay put on this bar stool because I don't want to be walking or swimming and go from cold water to hot water, back to cold water, back to hot water. Nope.
Oh.
Swim up bars are amazing, but they do make you think. Like, I wonder what all these other people are doing.
Not getting out of the pool to go use the restroom.
No.
I mean, hell, admittedly, so whenever we go to Hawaii, I'll go out into the ocean and I'll just be bobbing up and down.
Oh, yeah, the famous bob. That's, Big Mike's peeing if you see me at the breakers just bobbing.
Yeah, bobbing up and down out there, and yeah, I'm peeing, and that's fine, and I figure I'm just adding more nutrients back into the ocean.
That's right, the fish love it.
That's fine. That's the ocean. But some of these pools, like, some of the pools are enormous, and you're like, all right, so, the ppm, the parts per million, also pp, the pp ratio should be pretty low. I think I'm okay, but then you get into the smaller ones, and you're like, this parts per million, or like Great Wolf Lodge.
Oh, dude, the amount of chlorine they pump in that thing.
Oh, God, that thing it smells awful, it looks awful, and it's awful.
And I don't think I've ever been there where they haven't had to close something
for a brown alert.
Yep. The old fucking...
The Baby Ruth.
Yep, Baby Ruth or Payday or Three Musketeers or whatever is floating up on the top.
Uh-huh.
No, yep.
Oh, fuck.
I'm glad my kids are older now because I had fun, right, during those times at Great Wolf Lodge and doing the slides and everything. But
now that we know, like truly know, like at the time you're like, fuck it, I will deal with whatever because at the end of the day my kids will be tired.
Yep.
And so you wear them out, and by 7:00 they're comatose.
Oh, absolutely. Dinner and done, right?
Right. Or they're asleep at dinner was even better. Like, you get the chicken fingers get delivered to the table, and they're already drooling on the bench seat. Like, oh, there we go.
You know you did your job right.
All right, perfect. But nowadays, no. Now I'm going to be a little pickier about how much urine I want to swim in.
The grossest pool that we've seen in a long time, and I don't want to... It wasn't gross in the fact that, like you said, the sheer size of this pool was humongous. But we went on that Royal Caribbean cruise a few years ago.
Yeah.
Went to their private island, Castaway Cape. Fucking awesome. The island was so nice, so much fun. It was a true private island. I know a lot of these cruise lines, they'll have a section of an island, right?
Yeah.
But Royal Caribbean and Disney, there's probably more out there, but I haven't been on it. So, but if you want to send us on a cruise, the Whiskey and Wine Podcast, we will definitely do this remote on a boat. So,
absolutely. We will record at least 2 episodes.
That's right. So hit us on our social. We'll put that in the works. But anyways, this Royal Caribbean island, fucking amazing. We had such a blast, and their pool was humongous. But everyone went to the one area where they had the swim up bar, and it literally, I remember when Kate and I, because we went on a little walk, we were on one side of the island. They had these cute little walking trails, and they had the old school Disney tram system, right?
Oh, yeah.
Where
Yeah,
you
yeah.
fucking hop on look like the airport luggage car in the front, and then a bunch of fucking trailers.
Uh-huh.
We explored the island. We went over to the restaurant, and I remember when we were going to the buffet, we went over this little bridge that went over by the swim up bar, and it literally reminded me 100% of those MTV Spring Break Cabo or whatever. I mean, it was like if you were between the age of, probably 17 and 28, 29, 30, they were there. They had the music blaring. It looked like a good time, right? But what I saw was just that oil layer, right, of all the hairspray and other
sunscreen
shit,
and
the
makeup,
sunscreen, and dude, all the things. And then I'm like, you could almost smell the urine from the bridge. And I'm like, dude, I did not come to a private island to do that.
To swim in
It looks
pee.
fine, right? I love swim up bars.
Yeah.
I love that stuff. But I am literally, we were sitting on the beach, right, and looking at nothing. I'm like, that's the last thing I'd want.
Right.
So I don't know if my
Like,
age was showing or what. But, dude, being in a pool with 300 or 400 people all pissing on each other and jumping up and down, and no, I want that peaceful side of the island where I can just drink and
Absolutely.
stare at the ocean and nothing else as far as the
I think
horizon.
that's less age as it is wisdom.
No, yeah.
I think that's just we have finally gotten to the part where we're like, I don't need to expose my body to whatever that is.
Yeah.
And now there's a whole new batch of God knows what. Like there could be some flesh-eating bacteria floating around in that thing, and we would never know because some dirty frat boy got into that water and he'd been screwing a sloth the day before out in the rainforest, and now he's brought that back.
Well, if you ever take a Royal Caribbean cruise, you let me know, because I feel like we found the honey spot on this island, man. It was pretty low key. I love you listeners, but I'm not even going to tell you where I was on this one. It was quiet. It was super chill. This was when we had that big group of 20 of us. Dude, all 20 of us were hanging out. We got cabanas next to each other. I mean, it was so funny to go, I don't know, 400 or 500 yards away. And you literally went from this like calm, super chill, not a lot of families with small kids around, was nothing wrong with that, but you know what I mean, like it was just like you could almost, all you literally heard, it was cheesy, it was like a fucking travel commercial or a Visa commercial. Like all you really heard was those small little waves crashing.
Yep.
And we were, don't get me wrong, we were freaking consuming. Like we were drinking.
It's not like you were out in the middle of nowhere.
No.
You still had bottle service.
Oh, we had bottle service, and it did have this super quaint, it was super funny. It was a bar that was built on pontoons, right?
Oh.
But no power was run to it. And it was about, I don't know, maybe 50 yards off the beach.
Yeah.
And it was actually tethered with like fucking dock lines, right? Like the same shit they use for the cruise ships when they come in.
Yeah.
And it was the fucking coolest thing because, well, luckily for Big Mike, I'm so fucking tall. No matter how much I drank, I could pretty much walk to the motherfucker. I would have to swim about the last 10 feet, but I could drink all day, and I knew I was still going to get there safe. But we would all take turns, and we'd go out there. It wasn't that big. I mean, it probably only held like 20 people.
Yeah.
Oh, no blender, so if you wanted a daiquiri, it wasn't the place for you, right? But it was literally
all the cervezas in the world.
Dude, all the cervezas, all the shots. You'd see a guy in a kayak like every hour. He would kayak out there. He'd bring him fresh ice to stock the well. And then and then he would take the empty and the trash and all the shit back with them. It was So that's my spring break. That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah. Yep. A nice, quiet place. Good booze, good food. That but I mean, shit. When we were poor and we were college age and after, if you could find a place that, say you fly down there, stay for 5 days, and you fly back, and it's $700, didn't really care what the quality of the drink or the like how much pee was in the pool.
No.
You found a place that you could go do that, and you fucking did that.
Yeah, I never really did in my college days like a college spring break. As far as a lot of people here in Oregon, they go down to Shasta, right?
Yeah.
Never did a Shasta myself. Never did a Puerto Vallarta, fucking college spring break or anything.
Yep.
But I did spend. My mom was a flight attendant with Delta back in the day, so
Nice.
I would, as her son, I could fly for free on standby.
Yep.
And I spent a lot of time. Portland to San Diego had direct flights.
Yeah.
And even if they didn't, sometimes you'd have to go through Salt Lake, and wasn't that big of a deal because I wasn't paying, right?
Right.
I spent a lot of my 19s and 20s going down to Tijuana because it was what you just said. I had a shithole Best Western, right?
Right.
That I would stay at. I remember I brought Kate down there once with me the first time she came down there. I mean, it pretty much had chalk outlines in the parking lot. Like, it was a shit hotel, right? Beds were uncomfortable.
Yep.
But I think I was spending like $30 a night, right? 30 or $40 a night. And I'm like, so I flew down here for free.
Yep.
I'm here for the weekend with tax and everything. I might be $100 for the 2 nights into the room. Oh, that means I could go down to Tijuana with like $300.
Uh-huh.
Do you know? Oh, man.
You can do some damage with $300.
So those were my kind of, I guess, crazy spring breaks. And I look back at it now, and like I was telling you, man, I don't think even I would not go rally. I mean, we would rally.
Oh, yeah.
We would go down there and do the senior frogs, and there wasn't Ubers and shit. So, like, I remember just walking back to the border, and this was pre-passport days. This is when you literally would go into the custom area, the border patrol. And they
as
would
a U.S. citizen with your driver's license.
And that's all they would ask, right? Are you a U.S. citizen? As long as you said yes, you looked them in the eye. I mean, I don't think I ever even had to show identification, right?
Man,
I look back now.
You had a lot of heroin bags shoved up your ass at that point, too.
So not only that, but I did smuggle in a switchblade or a stiletto every time I came over the border, too, because once again, I'm feeling... They didn't even have metal detectors.
Oh, hell no.
It was kind of... You think of it now, right?
It was... Like, now everybody's bitching and moaning that the border is so porous and all these people are coming over, like... Remember the shit we used to take into Mexico and then just walk back?
And then, like you said, not only in, but out. Like, literally, you just walked from 1 second, you're in Tijuana. You go over the bridge. You go in the building. Are you a U.S. citizen? Yes. And then that was literally, that was it.
What's in the backpack? Nothing.
Dude. I never
clink,
showed no identification. Like I said, there was no searches. Now, were they doing that stuff? Probably, but
it was just all based on profiling.
Yeah. I remember when Kate and I think the last trip that we ever went down there, because at some point, once we got close to 21, we're like, I don't have to keep going to Tijuana
to drink,
right? I remember the last trip that we took, and she reminds me of this all the time. We had maybe 1 or 2 extra drinks, I had 1 or 2 extra drinks that I probably shouldn't have consumed, and it was a little different this time because they asked, "Are we U.S. citizens?" I said yes, and then another person that came out of nowhere, they were like a Prius, just hanging out, idling on the corner. Once I got past the border patrol, she pops up, and I guess she stated she was with Mothers Against Drunk Driving, because San Diego, I guess every single kid that goes, that lives in San Diego, this is a typical weekend, right? On Fridays and Saturday nights, you go down to Mexico, drinking ages 18, you can drink and come home.
Yeah.
So she asked me, are you driving? And I said, nope. The choo-choo train's taking me home. So they had a little max line like we have here, right?
Yeah.
That would take you into, more of like downtown San Diego, which is like a 10-minute train ride. And then apparently she asked if I would do a voluntary breathalyzer.
No.
for their
Like
data, right? Like
this person's coming back drunk as shit, and it's a minor.
Yeah. So Kate was still saying yes, that she was a citizen. So I was like, I got time to kill you. Go ahead. Dude, I blew numbers that I don't even want to say on the podcast.
I gotta know. All right, you can tell me during the break.
No, I don't remember the actual number, but I think
there was not a 0.0 though.
Oh, no. I think, is California similar to us?
Yeah, we're 0.08.
No, I know that, but do you think California is similar?
Yeah.
All I know is the lady, because I don't know if even numbers and decimals meant anything to me at this point of the evening, but I do remember her clearly saying it was 2.5 times as the California's legal limit.
Oh, that's not. You're fine.
So, and I told her the choo-choo train was driving me home, and everything was fine, and that was it.
Choo-choo train.
So Kate and I left
like
there.
It's fucking Mr. Rogers, like, like, ding, 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 ding. I'm going home to make-believe neighborhood.
Well, and apparently the lady did have my best interests because she told me, she goes, when you leave these doors, son, please just act as sober as you can. And walk as straight as you can, right? And luckily I had size, so it wasn't like I was falling over drunk. I just consumed a little alcohol in Mexico. But I do remember when you leave those doors, you are now
a drunk minor in the United States.
Technically, yes, right? And San Diego PD, I don't know if it's still like this, because this has been now, I haven't been to Tijuana since I was probably 20 or 20. Oh, no, shit, we did. But still, it's been 20 years, right?
All right.
They had one of those portable buildings right there, and they were just fucking lining up, dude, all in their, police gear and their vest, and wanted to have a presence known that, hello, hello, children, welcome back to America. I hope you were safe. I hope you had fun. You still have all your possessions. You didn't get mugged, but guess what? Don't be staggering too much. And it was like, as long as you could make that gauntlet, I remember it was about 15 or 20 yards, right? And then there was a slight bend in the walkway. So as long as you could
straight and narrow for 20 yards, Mike.
That's all. I never once got stopped, right? Never once got detained. Never once got questioned. Hell, I never talked to anyone besides the Mothers Against Drunk Driving that one night.
You didn't even question. You were like, "Oh yeah, blowing this thing." Like it's not a trumpet. We need just.
Oh yeah. I wasn't asking questions. I thought it was like one of those carnival games. I was trying to win a stuffed animal.
This episode of Whiskey and Wine Podcast is sponsored by Portland Party Bus, Portland's original party bus company, where the ride becomes the party. PDX Party Bus pricing is all-inclusive. This means all the hourly rates include all fees and mileage. No surprise charges at the end of the party, just professional staff and a party all along the way. Visit them at pdxpartybus.com and plan your next wine tasting, birthday party, or just a great weekend with them. pdxpartybus.com.
Yeah, so see, that kind of took the place. I didn't do a Havasu or a Shasta or a Mexico spring break in my younger days.
See, I feel like had you done like a Shasta or something, you would have been that kid that's in like the local paper, like missing after 5 days on Lake Shasta.
Yeah, not only would I not want my name, credit card, or anything associated with like renting a houseboat.
Seriously. Oh my God.
But just doing that. I was already a planner for my group of friends, right? So yeah, dude, I think that would have just been nope.
Yep.
Absolutely not. I
the
lost
stories,
money.
The stories my buddies told me about those trips down there, and Joanna went down on a couple of them, and it's just like green hamburger patties sitting in the cooler where the ice had melted a day and a half or 2 days ago, and you still got the hamburger meat in there, and you're like, fuck it, once we cook it, it'll kill everything. It's fine. Like, yeah, but you guys don't actually know how to cook any of this in the first place. So everybody ends up with the shits on a houseboat, and there's only one bathroom.
No,
Like,
see, that's why I always liked our guys' camping trips. The stories that I
Yeah.
shared, they were like maybe one of us or two or whoever could possibly, since we didn't do the state campgrounds, we sometimes would have to send someone down there a little early just to
Yep.
get the spot.
yep.
And we usually had our dude, shout out Zebo. He usually would always go down like the day before, like Thursday. Most of us would try to either work a half day on Friday, or even if we had to work a whole day, we'd just shoot down
Yep.
to like Detroit Lake area, right?
Yep.
So someone would have to try to get there a little early, just so we had a spot. Since
Yeah.
we didn't, it wasn't like we had a reservation for the woods, right? We had to, but dude, it was like Friday, Saturday, and then we came home Sunday. So it was like the food couldn't get too rancid, right? Our kegs were always cold. We always had ice for the kegs, but then we were trying to be somewhat responsible.
Why is it that we were so responsible with the booze that we would take, but never the food? Like, God forbid we pack anything except 17 bags of Doritos. And, like, somebody would bring a 12-pack of hot dogs, but nobody would bring the buns.
No, that was my group of friends too.
Yeah.
There was always those types of issues. But God forbid, we always had a hand pump for the keg.
Yep.
Sometimes even two if something broke on the first one.
Right.
We had Rubbermaid trash cans. We had plenty of ice, and then we always would do rock salt with our kegs, right?
Yeah. What the hell?
We had
how
all
are
that
we-
shit on lock, but fuck, someone would forget the paper plates, so now we're eating fucking burgers or whatever, right? That we cooked. They're piping hot,
Uh-huh.
grease dripping all over us. Fuck, who would have thought of a paper plate? But fuck, we had rock salt. We were almost like we almost could have made ice cream in the woods.
You were idiot savants.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
you had one part of it totally dialed in, and the other part of it you couldn't figure it out to save your lives. I mean, yeah, so many times, like going camping or going on vacation or whatever. Like you get 50% of it nailed, and then the other 50% you're like, so did anybody think about breakfast?
Yeah.
No. Well, how far of a drive is it to breakfast? It's like 20 minutes. Well, I'm not eating Doritos for breakfast. Well, it's 11 o'clock. In an hour, we'll just cook burgers. How many more buns do we have? 2.
Well, what? Actually, they're both soggy because they went to the bottom of the ice chest and now they're in
Who
water.
put the buns in the ice chest? Well, I thought I had to put all the food away so the bears wouldn't get it.
You're like, we're not in the outback
yeah.
of Alaska.
Put it in your car, dude. Why'd you put it in the soaking wet? Like, and why do we have 3 things of sour cream? Well, I thought we were going to make breakfast burritos. Did anybody bring tortillas? Or eggs? Or a pan to cook the eggs in?
Oh, dude, we had our famous DLBBs, Detroit Lake Breakfast Burrito. It could take you from a hungover just state where you felt like you were on death's door.
Yep.
You ate one of these things.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, all that grease.
Oh,
and,
so
right?
good.
We weren't patting it. Oh, you remember those young days, right? You could
Yep.
just... everything's getting cooked. Everything's getting cooked in the bacon grease. The hash
when
browns.
did
the
we ever
egg.
truly clean those pans?
No, God, no. I made
Like-
it a point not to. I had like
When we had that dumpster over New Year's,
Yeah.
I threw out a couple of plastic totes that just had old camping gear in it.
I just found plastic totes in my
and,
garage.
and it had like pans and cooking utensils that were clean with air quotes around it.
yeah.
Like, oh Jesus. When we come back and we have a fucking dishwasher, we can't put the shit in the dishwasher. We just put it back down into storage, and then we moved it from our old house to our new house and still never used it nor cleaned it. Fuck it, it's gone.
In the later years of our guys' camping trip, I was getting so lazy of doing shit like that. I was starting to buy like shitty plastic spatulas.
Oh
and
yeah.
I would go down to the Dollar Tree and just be like, you know what?
I'll buy 4.
They're either going to be left on the grill and they're going to melt anyways,
Uh-huh.
right? They're probably not going to get cleaned, even
Yep.
though the funniest part is we would have our tub, right? And we'd
Yep.
have that big, God, what were those were they like gallon and a half or 2 of the water bottles with the spigot that
Oh,
you could
yeah.
pull out?
Yeah.
We would have that, right, to do some rinsing off of shit and this and that. But I just knew at the end of the day, my groups, I don't want to speak for all guys camping trips out there, but
ours
dude,
too. Yeah.
I was like, it makes more sense in this place in our
just
life.
a throwaway.
Yes.
The
cheap dollar steak knives at dollar. I want to throw it all away. I don't want to sound like a bougie camper, but the shit's gonna wind up in someone else's car.
It's not like we were RV camping where it all goes back in and
there's not a
you
place.
use it over and over.
Nope.
It's why do we have 3 cheap Dixie plates in this container right now? Like, you couldn't put a croissant on this without it folding. Why do we have these?
See, I love it. All groups of guys have the same stories, I feel like. Just plastic totes of just cheap random shit that you used. I don't know about you. We literally
a couple times, and then for whatever reason you would keep the cheapest shit, and then somehow you would lose like the good wooden spoon that you would use to stir everything in the cast iron pan that you'd picked up somewhere from somebody that. Who knows where the cast iron pan came from, but nobody's like seasoning this thing. So you pull it out of the bin and it's a rusty piece of shit. And you're like, well, how do we get this ready to cook? Oh, you just put it on the fire and it'll burn it all off.
Yeah, we did.
All right, perfect. Just threw it in the campfire.
Done.
Yeah.
It's sterilized.
Yeah.
It's disinfected.
Oh my God, it was fucking awful. Like, we finally got to the point for guys trips and everything else that on the first night we would eat really well because everybody would pre-prepare something. So if it was a camping trip, it was like baked potatoes with all sorts of like good stuff inside that are wrapped in foil, and you just throw those in the campfire and those are ready to go then. And some ribs that you can reheat or sausage or something like that. And the goal was the first one to get the meat sweats had to do the dishes the whole weekend.
Oh, shit.
So everybody started bringing like smoked ribs, smoked sausage, like tri-tip and brisket and everything else. And the only vegetable was potato.
There you go. See?
There's no nothing, and it's just straight booze and beer.
Yeah.
So the first one to start like wiping their brow was like, you, yep, you're doing the dishes all weekend. But like, unless you were staying at somebody's house, doing the dishes out with the boys camping entailed throwing most of it in the fire anyways.
Yeah. We always made sure and did as much paper product, right, for the plates.
Yep.
And the paper towels and all that kind of stuff.
But inevitably, like, the Solo cups would end up in the fire.
Oh, we
like, the stuff that we threw in the fire definitely was not supposed to go in the fire.
We
right?
got yelled at by our buddy Zebo quite often for doing that shit. Fucking a red Solo cup would make it, and he's like, "That's plastic. You can't throw that in the fucking fire." And we're like, "Oh,
yeah, I can. Watch." Poof.
It would change colors, right? The flames.
Yep.
And it would fucking, yeah.
The problem is, what I learned is if you throw a stack of those in the fire, like 8 or 10 of them, they potentially can bubble and pop.
Ooh, no shit. I did not know that.
Yeah, so life lesson, little life hack here. Yeah.
All over the place.
Don't throw a stack of Solo cups into the campfire.
There you go. Listeners, make notes, see?
Also, if you have a gas fire pit in your backyard and a bunch of teenagers that come over on a regular basis, remind them that you don't put wood on the gas fireplace out there. Because I was walking out to go do some work the other day, and I found a couple of like logs sitting on top of that, on top of the fake ceramic logs that are in this thing. And I'm like, who put real wood on the fake gas fireplace out here? I don't know. Yeah. All right, so just remind them, no Bernie
That's
on
right.
the Bernie. Like
These logs will last forever.
Yeah.
No need.
Those are not real logs. Touch them. Feel them. They are not real. Don't touch them or feel them when the fire
When
is
the
on.
flame's on, yes.
Oh God, no. The amount of stuff that has been burned or abandoned, or there were tents and tarps and everything else. Like, I was in Boy Scouts. I don't know about you, but I was in Boy Scouts, and the stuff that here's a good one for you. So I was in Boy Scouts in Malala, which is economically disadvantaged,
Okay.
to put it gently.
Yeah.
So somebody in our troop, each time we went on one of these troop camping trips, which in Oregon just fucking sucks. Because all winter long it is just wet and cold and awful. And so going on these camping trips as a Boy Scout is miserable. None of the parents wanted to do it, but there would inevitably be like a parent that has to stay the night. Everybody else would just drive home because we were 20 minutes from home. So everybody else would drive home, wake up at 6 a.m, drive back down with like warm coffee for all the parents or, everything else. So the kids are all staying there. So each camping trip, somebody was in charge of buying the food for the troop.
All right.
And so, we'd all pool the money and, we'd have a couple $100. And you had to plan the meal. So you had like Friday night dinner, Saturday breakfast, lunch was kind of on your own, sandwiches, and then Saturday night dinner and Sunday morning breakfast, and then you get the hell out of there, right?
Boom, done. Yep.
So you got 4 or 5 meals that you got to deal with. Most of the time, people would go down and they'd come up with a few things like something you can do in that Dutch oven in the campfire, or something, some burgers or something relatively simple.
Yeah.
This one kid decided he was going to be the brilliant one. He went down to the Army surplus store when Army surplus stores were still a thing, right?
I think I know. Yeah. Keep going. I'm hoping I know where this is going.
He took the $350 that he was given for this troop of 15 kids and bought only MREs.
Yes, this is exactly where I thought it was going. Yes.
Not just MREs, but like used Vietnam era MREs. So 1974 stamp on the outside of this thing.
Shut up.
This is in the the late 80s, early 90s. So he shows up with just this tote, like this cooler, and we're like, "Oh, sweet. You got a bunch of like good food and everything." And we open it up and it's just 120 MREs. Well, those 120 MREs cost him $30.
Oh
So he pocketed the rest of the money and was like, "Yeah, this is enough food to get everybody through the weekend." And he's like, "And I've got an extra like $220 or 200,
freaking hilarious, man.
We opened the first one because we're like, it's Friday night. We're all hungry. We've set up the tents. We open up the first one. There's no way to heat the thing because this is an old 70s era MRE. This isn't like, tear it open and it'll warm itself up.
Yep. We
and
had
it's
those.
rice. Yeah,
Yep.
no, this is like crackers from 1970 whatever, and peanut butter, and there's a pack of gum that is like the baseball card gum, hard as
Holy
hell,
shit.
and a couple of other things in there, and we all just look at this kid and we're like, "Fuck you." None of us are eating this. So finally one of the dads that is there walks up and goes, "Where is the rest of the money?" And he goes, "Well, I spent it. I bought myself a new skateboard and some blah, blah, blah."
Oh my goodness.
You spent the money for the food and you bought nothing but MREs that are clearly expired and awful for everybody to eat. "No, these things are great." And he's just like shoving these awful crackers in his mouth, and eventually he goes, "This stuff's really shitty." Like, so this, the dad had to go all the way back into town, went to like Taco Time and picked up, $50 worth of Taco Time in the 80s, 90s, and brought it back and was like, I will, we'll all get together and we'll get breakfast for you guys and lunch and I think we need to all just go home tomorrow afternoon.
We're gonna call it early.
Yeah, it was, it's pissing rain because it's January in Oregon. We're staying at what was MacGyver Park, and it's just a floodplain next to a river. And we had gotten assigned the last camping spot for all these troops, and so we're in the wettest part. By the time we woke up, there was 6 inches of water in the fucking tent.
Shit.
The dad that was supposed to bring us breakfast had slept in, so there's no breakfast. It's like 9:00, and all these troops are starting to gather for something, and we're like, nope, we're out, we're done. And the troop leader's like, yeah, we're done. We're going home.
Trip is over.
And this kid just never lived it down. Like, he was clearly never trusted again with any amount of money.
Yep.
And we never let him cook. We never let him do anything ever again because he had spent all of $30 on MREs for camp food.
And the guy that worked or gal that worked at the Army surplus store is like,
you're not going to eat these, are you?
I'm sure we are. He's
Yeah.
thinking, frickin' sucker. Hey, I'll sell you the whole lot, $30. Enjoy.
We sent the rest of those fucking MREs home with him, and I'm fairly certain that when his dad figured out what he had done, he made his son eat a couple of those things.
Oh, dude.
Like
I couldn't
tuna
imagine.
from 1974.
Oh, dude, I couldn't even imagine. We had a buddy who was in the service in our group and had a bunch of recent and new MREs when he went on his tour in Iraq.
Yeah.
So he brought them for guys' weekend, right? And it was like fresh. They weren't sitting around for 20, 30 years.
Yeah, right.
And it was funny because we all, like he said, you open it up, had the heat packet, right? It was like stroganoff, and it had all these elaborate, sounded pretty good things, and they weren't actually that bad at all.
Yeah.
They taught us about the cracker trick with the saltine crackers.
Oh, yeah.
That if you put them in your mouth and chewed them all at once and then took a sip of water, like it instantly turned to like mortar, right? And you couldn't fucking, and none of us knew, right?
Yeah.
So we all tried it and it got us. But it was cute. They had the little, I remember the super small, I don't even know what it was, like a half an ounce or a quarter ounce of like Tabasco sauce in these things. Oh, dude, these were like I said, the new high,
the classy MRE.
But it was fun. I remember one night we did sit around and the little eating of the MREs and kind of passing around. I was like, fuck, dude, these kind of, in a strange, weird way, they're kind of fucking good. But once again,
yeah, right.
They weren't 30-year-old tuna.
Oh God. Yeah, no. I've got an emergency kit in this house in case,
Shit went down.
whatever. And it's got the newer like easy to make, just either boil water, or it's got the kit inside that'll automatically like heat everything up kind of kit. And even that, it still makes me twitch a little bit. Just looking at the nondescript tin can of tuna that has no expiration date on it, but just has a made-in date on it, and it's older
Throwing
than
up just red flags after red flags.
If it's older than I am, I'm probably gonna pass. And even at like 10, 11 years old, like that still seems like it's probably questionable, guys.
Plus, see, we're getting pickier with what we're eating at this stage in our life.
I don't know. It depends on how much of this bourbon we're drinking.
No, this is true, man. I'll tell you, the smoothness, it is scaring me a little bit because
it goes down a little easier than it should.
We haven't even got to the rating, and I don't want any more. Just because we have a bunch of stuff going on, right? In our separate ways here soon. But I'm like, holy shit, this is really smooth.
This could be a dangerous, like, we finished the bottle and didn't notice that we finished the bottle kind of thing.
No, it totally could be.
Okay. I'm gonna finish mine off here.
You're gonna finish it off.
Yeah.
All right. So that means I'm gonna finish mine off. Well, that means we're gonna have to now go to stage 2 of the whiskey.
Yeah, you're right. Your description is that there's this weird crispness to it, like those Chardonnays that you get from Southern California that are they call them buttery. I've never tasted butter when I drink a Chardonnay, but that dry oak kind of, it almost feels like it pulls the moisture out of my mouth somehow.
Well, it's funny too, and I don't know. I've read the back of the bottle, right? Because I'm very intrigued with this. I'm not getting the sugars.
No, at all.
I don't know. I have consumed some stuff before this, so I don't know if
it's not a traditional bourbon. That's what I'm getting from
Yes.
this. Is like, this is not a deep brown sugar and spice and all of those, varied flavors
I'm
that
getting
you can get.
strong oak, right? I can definitely taste some oak.
But even the color of this motherfucker, that is light. Like, if I'm looking through the side of this thing, the bottle, I can still see the TV just fine. I could read the score. So it's very light in flavor. It's very light in
Which makes
taste.
sense, right? Because does it give a time frame of how long it's aged in what barrels? Have you read anything on that?
I couldn't find anything definitive,
Okay.
which tells me that it's dependent on stock on hand. Like, did it just wash by the Chardonnay barrels? Like, did you just run it over an empty barrel on its way into the bottle, or
Shit,
what?
Yeah, you're not lying. I can literally.
You can see the TV through that thing.
Yeah. So no, definitely light. I do taste some oak, right? I think I get some hints of like a vanilla or something, and I don't know if my psyche, just because I know
It should be there.
that it's in the Chardonnay barrels, right?
Yeah.
Like I taste some crispness and some dryness. I know that's definitely coming out from the Chard. I don't know. I can't tell if
But as far as a bourbon goes, it's not a fucking bourbon for me. Like, this is, yes, it's a whiskey, it's a bourbon technically, but it doesn't have that flavor profile of that.
No.
However, it is still very tasty in a fun, different way. But for our listeners, for whiskey drinkers, this is not going to be something that you pick up and go, holy shit, I can't wait to have this again.
No, like I said, this would be a good. I would crush some old fashions out of this.
Yep, I think you're right. I think playing around with a smoker kit or something like that with this would be a lot of fun.
And it would be fun too, like you said, with different. I've kind of been on my kick of just using my cherry wood. I have a bunch of apple wood at home, and I haven't used it yet. This I would like to explore with some apple.
I think so.
Because I like those.
Ooh, then you get a Honey Crisp apple.
See, boom.
Ooh,
we're making
look at
shit
that.
happen.
Ooh, yeah, we're gonna definitely.
So
try
no,
this
could be something fun that we could pick a few different wood flavors, right?
Yep.
Hickory, some apple, some cherry. I don't even know what else is out.
We could even mix a few of those flavors together and see what we could do with it, because this is so tame as far as the stuff on the palate that you could do it. So for me, this is definitely just a gold. And only if I'm being honest, it's only that high because I see it in every single liquor store I walk into.
And it's under
it's under
price?
$40.
All right, so it falls in that same price as last week of the Eagle Rare.
Yeah, but the Eagle Rare has a hell of a lot of good flavors to it compared to this. It's just not available anywhere. This is available everywhere, and yeah. For me, this is a gold just because of its availability everywhere. Otherwise, flavor-wise, it would be a high silver
So
for me.
that's funny. So I'm literally at a high silver right now. I was gonna get my.
Are you going into the liquor search?
Well, I was gonna get out my coin flip app,
Oh, there you go.
and because we're very high tech here at the
All right,
Whiskey
I'm
and
gonna
Wine
with
podcast.
whatever you fall on. That's what I'm gonna go with. Because I could give this a high silver just flavor alone.
See, and that's what I'm leaning at right now, because we gave, if my memory serves me correctly, from a whole week ago, Eagle Rare was a high gold.
Yep.
And I feel like
This is nowhere near that.
it's probably 2 notches. So if we're going off
Yeah.
of our final grading scale,
Totally final. And super accurate and professional grading scale.
which I'm leaning towards high silver.
Yeah, I gotta go. I think I'm gonna go with you.
I think I'm going high silver. And there's nothing wrong with that, right?
No,
High silver.
it's still a very. I think you could have a lot of fun with this.
I enjoyed it. It really, like I said, the nose on it was crazy at first because I didn't know how to describe it to you before we started. I was like,
What the
I
hell
smell
is this?
dryness, and I don't know if that's even a thing that
Right?
humanly is feasible. But it was very no, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's something that I would love to revisit this and do some crazy smoking with it, and maybe even make like one old fashioned or one man. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
I want to do more with this.
Yeah, I think so.
Right now, as a neat glass in its first intro in our lives,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go high silver.
Yep, I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna go high silver
But I
on that as
feel
well.
like we should at some point, and not too distant, but at some point in the next month or two, we should revisit this and throw a little smoke in it.
I think so too.
Maybe a little bitters. Just try a few little funky, right? I don't want to make some elaborate freaking cocktail that we'll never make it. But just I want to.
But if we smoke a glass with a little bit of rock in it, and then put this over it, and then add a little bitter, or maybe, just a garnish of something that'll add a little flavor to it. Maybe this is one of those chameleon kind of whiskeys that you can do whatever the hell you want with.
And I told you when we went to El Gaucho a while back, I saw them when they smoked. I had a tableside. What was it? I don't even remember what it was or what whiskey.
But they smoked it in like a giant glass jar, didn't they?
They smoked it, but then they also hit the orange peel with the lighter. Like, dude, I would love to see what this would taste like just with a fucking 5-second torch of just an orange peel and throwing that in there, because I bet you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I feel like this is one that we might have some fucking crazy fun with.
I think this is a good base for
Yes.
a lot of just fuck around and find out.
Yeah. I need a little more bite, a few more layers if I'm just going to do a neat or even on the rocks, right?
Yep.
But I feel like you could do a lot of this with some crazy stuff where when it gets so crazy that because you can get too many flavors. You can get too much shit going on. I don't need to taste 500 things with every sip. But this one, I think we might. Let's try some weird things with this one.
All right, I'm in for that.
All right, dude.
All right. Well, cheers, sir.
Hold on, let me get my. Oh, that's perfect timing. Look, I got one small little swill left right here.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Well, welcome to spring break, Mike.
Yep, buddy. Spring break is officially here. Look at that sun out the windows.
Is that what that thing is?
Yep. Sun. It's sunny.
Yeah.
I can almost smell the spring flowers.
I can almost smell the sunscreen and urine in the pool.
Yes, we can.
Well, thank you guys for listening to the Whiskey and Wine podcast. This week, we tasted a little bit of Amador, Amador. We gave it a high silver, but we're going to have a little fun with it another episode, I think. And we'll see what goes on. And remember to follow us on the socials, on Facebook, on Instagram. Hit us up on the website. Let us know what you want us to either taste or talk about, or if you think there's somebody that needs to come on one of these episodes, go ahead and nominate them, or nominate yourself for all we care.
Yeah, do you want to come on the podcast?
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah.
I'm looking at 2 empty chairs right now.
Uh-huh. Oh, it reminds me, a few weeks ago, I better wash those. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Heck yeah, you guys. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Whiskey and Wine podcast is brought to you by Tapforia, Tigard, Oregon's first growler tap house, founded in 2014. Tapforia has 28 taps including beer, wine, cider, seltzer, and kombucha. Did you know that they are also a bottle shop as well? Stop in for a pint, glass, growler, or a 4, 6, and 12 pack of the latest, greatest offerings of our local breweries. Located at Highway 99 in Tigard, visit tapforia.com and follow them on social media to see what they have on tap each day. Tapforia, craft beers and wines.